Previously on the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
So for October, we're going to be reading the Panini graphic novel, The Iron Legion, featuring the Fourth Doctor. And it includes a little-known story called The Star Beast, starring everyone's favorite Beep the Meep.
Cool.
And now our story continues.
Welcome, everyone, to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. This is Matt in Minnesota.
It's Chris in South London. How's it going, Matt?
It's going pretty well, Chris. Weather permitting. I think I'm going to try and attend Chicago TARDIS over Thanksgiving weekend next month in November.
Yay! Cool.
It'll be my first time attending since 2013, and I think my fifth overall. And for listeners who are keeping track, I previously attended in 01, 05, 09, and 2013, so 10 years ago for the 50th. But with 3 Doctors being announced, plus it being the 60th anniversary weekend, I very much couldn't say no.
Yeah.
Plus it'll be a good shakedown cruise for my EV to see how it handles like a multi-state road trip and planning charging stations and stuff.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if Chicago TARDIS has much of a ribbon trading culture, but listeners, if you see me, please stop by and say hi, and I'll have plenty of badge ribbons on me to give away. And it's kind of pretty cool that director of the upcoming adaptation of The Star Beast, Rachel Talalay, will also be there. And it would be really cool if she did a live commentary on The Star Beast, perhaps.
Yes, because it might be released that weekend.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, because we don't know.
We don't, but if you look at the electronic versions of the 3 Target adaptations, it looks like they've been updated to come out starting in the week of November 10th.
Oh.
One a week afterwards. And I don't know if that's just a listing error or a temporary thing, or if that gives us a hint as to what the BBC might be doing there, but
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, it would make sense for them to possibly appear on Saturdays, maybe. But anyway, we don't know. Listener, you live in the future. You may know with your space cars and everything, but we do not.
Chris, I heard you recently on a Pieces of Eighth podcast sharing your thoughts about Storm Warning. That was surprising and fun to hear. Even though you may have been an outlier, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'd forgotten I did that. Yeah. Yes.
We have some interesting show news that has been announced, also related to... Oh, by the way, this month we are reviewing the Iron Legion, so all this Star Beast talk is very relevant to our discussion. But Miriam Margolyes, I think that's how her name's pronounced.
Yeah.
She's been announced as the voice of the Meep for the upcoming 60th anniversary specials. And if she is indeed playing Beep the Meep, because I think she was just announced as the Meep, so maybe she's playing all of the Meeps. But if so, she'll be the 3rd actor to play the character. Because it's...
Yeah, because of Big Finish. Yeah.
And we've also heard that Doctor Who Unleashed has officially been announced.
With a host.
Hopefully not going down the totally Doctor Who path, but...
Yeah. It's nice that it's back, because I assume it will be a little bit Doctor Who Confidential-esque, but we'll see. I mean, in the early days, I would always watch the Confidentials. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to watch the Unleashed. I guess if the episode's a bit rubbish, then maybe I won't.
Those might be the best ones, though, if I know what went wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They tend to be fairly anodyne, don't they?
True.
Sometimes if you're watching some of the DVDs of the 80s, and you might well hear like Peter Davison's opinion, and also Janet Fielding especially. But yeah.
Yeah, we might have to wait 20 or 30 years to get the full story.
Yes.
We also have just a little bit of book news to share. Redacted Series 2 has been released. So if you've listened to the first series, the second series has a different producer, James Goss, but all of the three leads return to reprise their roles, and it's a slightly shorter second series, but it is on my hard drive to be listened to shortly. And we've also, comic book related, the second volume of Jodie Whittaker comic strips has been announced by Panini. They'll be publishing The White Dragon on March 1st of 2024. And it follows their first volume of collected 13th Doctor adventures called Mistress of Chaos, which actually happens to have Sharon coming back from the Star Beast in that story to meet the 13th Doctor. So some fun little tie-ins there.
I'd completely forgotten that, but then I think I did during Jodie's era stop reading the strip.
Well, it was also published very intermittently as well during that time.
Yes, pandemic. Yeah. Cool. So we're entering show and tell territory, I think.
We are, yes, and I think you're first this time.
Okay, cool. So my show and tell is that for reasons related to this month's episode, I've been reading some of the old Doctor Who weeklies, which has been an interesting experience because for quite a lot of them, it's the first time that I've read them. Like there's fascinating things, like there's a profile of Jackie Lane, where it says that the producers felt Jackie Lane's resemblance to Carol Ann Ford gave a good reason for the Doctor to so readily adopt the waif-like figure who breathes aboard the TARDIS. Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily how I would describe it. Also, as well, apparently rising British stars like Michael Caine had made the Cockney accent fashionable, and a decision was passed that Dodo would carry on this tradition. That was not a decision that lasted long.
I suppose you get the adverts and stuff in there too.
Yes,
sometimes that's one of my favorite bits of looking at old like comic books is you get the letters page and you get the advertisements and such.
Yes, yeah. There's a Superman thing says that with Superman's amazing X-ray, he can see the harm cigarettes do inside people's bodies. That's why I don't smoke. But it's also one of these things that kind of makes you, I can see why the boys.
That was nice of Marvel to publish a DC related thing too, I guess.
Yes, I guess. So they had a caption competition. Some of the captions, shall we say, have dated horrifically, but there's one that's actually quite prescient. That has Vicky from one of the promotion things of The Rescue with, is it Coquillian?
Yes.
Yes. Coquillian's head kind of like resting on top of and her looking up, and she says, "So much for computer dating." And I'm like, oh, was that a thing? I guess maybe it was.
And she's also from the future too, so maybe they were looking at like, because it wasn't there like phone dating for like a while, like
yeah, I guess. But in 1979,
extrapolating from that,
maybe. So there's also news items like there's a thing saying that although filming for the new Doctor Who season's underway, Tom Baker is soon to be on our screens because Tom will be playing an Arab guide in a Lou Grade series based around the Curse of the Pharaohs. Oh, that sounds like that would be horrific. I have seen a photo of it.
And there's probably a reason it hasn't been released to home video.
yes. I think there's a lot of reasons why.
Chiefly racism.
yes.
Wow.
Yes. And also there's an amazing comic ad featuring the Doctor and Romana, and the Romana is neither Mary Tam nor Lalla Ward.
Does she happen to look a little bit like Juliet Landau? Maybe not.
That would be kind of creepy, but she looks like she's got some kind of like dark hair, so maybe it's supposed to be Mary Tam, but as drawn by someone who's never seen her. I don't know.
That was one of the questions I had for this month's comic collection is, where's Romana? Because it feels like it happens on or after like season 17, but no mention of her.
No mention of her. Though the Doctor at one point does tell a whole host of aliens not to enter his bedroom in the TARDIS.
I'm sure it's just messy.
Yes. Fair enough. Best ask no questions, eh? So,
Wow.
anyway, right, on that note, what about you, Matt?
So for me, I very similar had a show and tell related to what we're reading. So I listened to The Ratings War, which is a Big Finish audio featuring the Sixth Doctor and Beep the Meep. And this came out back in January of 2002. Packaged as a free download with DWM 313, and I still have it on CD from that issue, and it was later re-released as a free download on Big Finish's website, and it has some very prescient things to say about reality TV, some good digs at Mary Whitehouse, and some fun nods to strikes in the 1970s and impacts to viewing figures. Yeah. And in this one, Beep was played by Toby Longsworth, who's also played Dog Bolter for Big Finish, Vesuvius in the Iron Legion adaptation, and he also played Ka, the kind of the parrot vulture in the Infinite Quest. Yeah. And then Beep was later played by Bethan Dixon Bate in the Big Finish adaptation of The Star Beast. But yeah, it was a fun little Big Finish adventure to listen to, and it's free and out there for folks to hear. So it's a nice half hour of your time if you're, say, driving somewhere. Yeah. It's a fun one.
Cool.
So as we hinted at and mentioned, this month we're reading The Iron Legion, which is a graphic novel and the first in Panini's collected graphic novel range, which is still going strong today, some 35 volumes later, with the release of Liberation of the Daleks next month. And the project editor and designer was Clayton Hickman, and this was released in April of 2004. And in terms of bonus content, we've got an interview with Dave Gibbons, which I think was repurposed from either an old DWM or something, but it was cool. And he kind of talks about going on, past the 5 stories in this collection to some of his other work on the strip.
There was a 10th anniversary magazine that Doctor Who magazine published, the epic milestone of 10 years of being published in 1989. And I seem to remember Dave Gibbons being interviewed for that.
So that's probably where they got his interview from.
Yeah.
This graphic novel is currently out of print some 20 years later and 43 years on from the original strips, but it'll be republished next month as part of the complete Fourth Doctor anthology, which will have a total of 16 adventures in it, including the 5 that we're going to talk about today. And this was originally released in paperback, but there's also a hardcover version floating out there, which was released for premium subscribers of the Complete History series. 2 of the stories in this collection were also adapted into a Big Finish audio, and that's where our dramatic reading comes from this month. We can't have a better reader for the Fourth Doctor, I think, than Tom Baker.
Yeah, he's got some creds, hasn't he?
So let's have a listen to the promotional trailer.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, the comic strip adaptations, Volume 1.
Good evening. The news at 9 o'clock on Wednesday the 20th of February 1980.
I'm a monster.
Fudge! You're a wazzock, that's what you are. Nearly scared us to death.
M1000 CM 900 LXX1X, that's 1979. Date of manufacture, 1979. That's now.
Oh gods, how I love war. Let my Iron Legion march forever, for only through destruction am I alive. Without it, I am a dead thing.
Hyperspace jump completed. Planet Sol 3 in sight.
That is where the radiation trail leads?
It is, sir.
Then pinpoint the target. At once.
I have conquered this town, the place they call Stockbridge.
That's the last of the neck bolts, so all it needs is one good twist and a tug.
Run, Shad, run!
Fudge! I think he's crying.
Don't get too close, he might have space mange.
He was bleeding, remember?
Why are they keeping us standing around? What do they want with us, Viv?
I don't know, Doc. Funny that. Still, look on the bright side. They've not shot us.
Surrender or be annihilated.
I surrender. I repeat, goodness, is that a chieftain?
I am the only chieftain here.
I meant the tank.
Pretty Polly!
Watch out, Mr. Morris!
Hey, Doc, they're using backed guns on us.
Hola!
Big Finish.
I said, hola!
We love stories.
Look, Whoever you are, the least you could do for a fellow whose space-time ship you've shanghaied is hola back.
Thanks, Tom and Company, for performing those.
Cheers, Tom.
These stories were adapted by Big Finish and released in March of 2019. And despite being labeled Volume 1, no word yet on a Volume 2, but I would love for there to be like an adaptation, perhaps with Peter Davison, for Tides of Time. You could have Rory's dad, Mark Williams, reprising his role as Maxwell Edison for The Stars Fell on Stockbridge, or a Volume 3 with Colin Baker adapting Voyager would be incredible too.
Yeah, the Voyager's a very visual story. I'm not saying the Big Finish couldn't do it, but yeah.
They did okay with Iron Legion, which I thought was really like a visual
story
as well.
So John Wagner is probably best known as being the co-creator of Judge Dredd. And he also, as well, did do some stuff for DC. I think he wrote Batman for a while. And Dave Gibbons, he provided the art for Watchmen and also the fantastic Superman story For the Man Who Has Everything. So Dave Gibbons' art you've probably seen before, even if you've not read this collection. Because chances are, if you've read comics, particularly any comics vaguely superhero related, you've probably read Watchmen, and if you like Alan Moore, you've probably read For the Man Who Has Everything, and also because that's been adapted enough.
Oh yeah, starting its first adaptation was in the live-action Superboy series.
Yes.
So very talented writers and artists who are working on the strip, and it also I feel like it contrasts too, like we think about where the comic was in the 60s and the 70s in terms of storytelling, and I feel like with Doctor Who Weekly it really elevated the narrative and from what had gone before, even though I haven't read a ton of 60s and 70s comic strips yet.
Well, it feels like a statement of intent. Because they've got some of the 2000 AD creators.
Yeah.
And that would have been quite the coup. But it's also as well worth saying that each issue's comic material really is very short.
Yeah.
It's like 6 pages, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
And there was backup features of adaptations of like classics like War of the Worlds by Chris Claremont, of all people.
Well, of X-Men fame.
Yes.
Yeah, like within some of these stories, there were Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
Where Tom Baker would show up at the beginning and end of the strip to kind of introduce it.
Yes.
As a way to repurpose it.
Yeah, very subtly done.
It's also interesting that for these 4 stories that Pat Mills and John Wagner wrote together, they kind of trade off who is listed first as the writer, which is similar to what Filmation producers Lou Scheimer, Norm Prescott, and Hal Sutherland did in the 70s and 80s to share top billing. They had like a circular credit that rotated 360 degrees. And according to the Dave Gibbons interview, they alternated writing duties. So Pat Mills wrote The Iron Legion and the Star Beast, whereas John Wagner wrote City of the Damned and Dogs of Doom. Speaking of interviews, there's a great 45-minute interview from Nick Briggs with Pat Mills that's included as an extra on the Big Finish adaptation as well. And it looks like Dave Gibbons had brought in Mills and Wagner for writing, knowing that they had a bunch of ideas ready to go that they had already submitted for the television series and were rejected. And I think they were just coming off of their first big 2000 AD run.
Yeah, Pat Mills was slightly famously tried to do the Space Whale, which was a Doctor Who storyline that he repeatedly pitched to 80s Doctor Who and eventually got adapted into an audio. It was one of these things where I was like, how are you going to do that on the budget that was available at the time? I think if it ever did come to light, it would have been awful.
The whole collection is in black and white, which is how these were originally published. I think they were only later colorized as part of their re-releases, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's some images that I remember seeing a colorized bit of in GWM as kind of like an extract. There's a scene featuring Magog that I kind of went, oh, I saw this colorized. So, yeah. I guess they were colorized for the American releases.
Oh, that could be, the reprints in the Marvel Comics range,
Yeah.
Well, shall we start the TARDIS timer?
Yeah, let's.
And maybe go with, 8 minutes per story since we only have the 5. That works?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So we start with The Iron Legion, which was written by Pat Mills and John Wagner and edited by Des Skin. This appeared in Doctor Who Weekly 1 through 8. And before we get into the plot, the first thing I'll maybe remark upon is that this comic is very dense. There are lots of packed into an individual page, both in terms of pictures and characters within a given frame, but also number of words per page too.
Yeah.
And the Doctor appears to be traveling alone here, so probably set after Deadly Assassin, and he seems to be wearing his Season 17 outfit, but there's no mention of Romana.
But K9 does appear.
Not in this story, but...
No, but in later stories, K9 appears. Because there is a comic that's not included in this collection, K9's Finest Hour, that is supposed to kind of explain why K9 was away. It doesn't. I don't think. But I think it's supposed to. I can't quite remember why K9's away.
I think there's a multi-Doctor story that they skipped too, I think called Time Trap or Time...
Yes.
Something that...
Time Slip.
Time Slip
Yes.
that...
Yes.
I think it ends up in the Tides of Time. I think we've already reviewed that one separately.
Yes, I think we have. Yes, because as I was reading, I read that just for completion. I went, I've already read this.
Shall we jump right in?
Yeah, let's get started. Let's. So with the Iron Legion, we start off with the Doctor visiting a small English town to stock up on jelly babies. Because presumably no other source.
And I think this is Stockbridge, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's later retconned to be Stockbridge. Yeah. And he finds it under attack by robot Roman legionnaires from an alternate timeline. And the TARDIS then falls through a dimensional duct to an alternate Rome where the Doctor is interrogated by a robot called General Ironicus. And when he refuses to give up the secrets of time travel, he is thrown to the Ecto Slime in the arena. And when he survives that ordeal, he's made a slave on the Imperial War Galley.
Which is like a flying ship.
Yeah, it's basically, this is the Roman Empire in space.
And it's a great touch that the Doctor's trying to stock up on jelly babies. I read this during like a fall rainstorm, and the Fourth Doctor is just such a cozy comfort era. And there's a fantastic first cliffhanger where a tank opens fire on the Doctor who's trying to get into his TARDIS, and the first casualty, because there is a body count in these comics, there's a kindly old shopkeeper who's gunned down by one of the ape-like Legionnaire robots.
Yeah.
And I love that we get a Stanley Presents moniker added to the beginning of part 2 and onwards, which is great to see his name associated with this. And
yes. I don't know how much attention Stanley paid to this.
But, if any. Yeah.
Yes.
But then the Doctor aboard the ship meets a cyborg slave named Morris who helps the Doctor escape. And this Morris is very like Absalom Dack, like very much out of 2000 AD sort of attitude.
Yeah, he looks a bit like the cyborg Superman.
Yes. He does. I would say Trapjaw as well for
Masters
of the Universe. And they make their way to the Imperial Palace, which is actually an alien spacecraft in disguise, not unlike State of Decay and the vampires there. And we also meet the oldest robot in Rome, who is Vesuvius, who leads them to the Temple of the Gods. And Vesuvius is kind of this old clanker that reminds me a little bit of a cross between TikTok from Return to Oz with a little Ram Man from Masters of the Universe again, and maybe a little MODOK thrown in, and Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle as well, because he's got this like flame on top of his head that keeps going out.
Yeah, a bit junk bots as well.
Yeah. And the Doctor, when they get to the Temple of the Gods, recognizes an evil alien known as the Malevolus, and it's actually a group of like 5 aliens, 4 brothers and 1 sister. And Morris is killed by robot guards as the Doctor escapes. But with Vesuvius's help, the Doctor finds and releases the Bestiarius, which are genetically engineered and unstable super soldiers, which were hidden underground. And as they spread havoc throughout Rome, the Doctor confronts Magog, who's the leader of the Malevolus, who has taken the form of Juno, Emperor Adolphus's mother. And the Emperor kid is like this obnoxious teenager.
Yes.
Who, in the Big Finish adaptation, is like playing video games constantly.
So Magog kills Ironicus, the general from earlier, for his failure, and tortures the Doctor. And the Doctor uses the TV cameras in the Imperial box to broadcast Magog's true form to the people of Rome. because like Magog basically looks a bit like a Reaper.
Well, I was thinking the Krillitane from School Reunion, because
Yeah,
the
true.
transformation sequence and the character design, but yeah, the Reapers as well.
Yeah, and the Romans rise up against their evil gods, but Magog, certain that this setback is only temporary, forces the Doctor to take her to the TARDIS and explain how to operate it. And the Doctor tricks Magog into operating control, which traps Magog in a pocket dimension within the TARDIS, which is quite useful.
In the audio adaptation, they expand on that a little bit, and the Doctor reveals that it's how he cleans the TARDIS. It's like a vacuum cleaner. So
Right.
everything goes into an unwanted pocket dimension.
Fair enough. I mean, it's not how the Doctor dealt with Salamander, but yeah. So, but the other Malevolus, trying to escape from the rebels, discover too late that Magog has drained all the power from their ship, and so when they try to launch the ship, it crashes and explodes upon takeoff. That is the Iron Legion.
And the timer just went off, so really good timing
cool.
there. A couple of other quick thoughts about it. I didn't realize that Kronk burgers, which were mentioned in the new series in the long game, date back to this story, but also that Kronk burgers are made from sentient Kronks from the Crab Nebula. So that's a weird kind of twist when you realize that the Doctor's like, oh yeah, have a Kronk burger on Satellite 5.
Yeah. Well, it might be vegetarian Kronk burgers.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I also got a chuckle that anytime the Legion mentioned a number, like the Doctor potentially being like the 124th victim of the Ecto-Slime or whatever, that all the numbers were written out in Roman numerals.
Yeah.
And Morris and Vesuvius kind of function as pseudo-companions in this story until Morris dies, and
Yeah.
their role is greatly expanded upon in the audio adaptation too.
Yeah.
And as is some of the folks from Stockbridge, who you kind of follow as they wind up in this alternate dimension as slaves.
Yeah, I'm glad they're expanded upon because, like, I kind of feel there's a lot of spectacle here. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, Alan Barnes did the adaptation, and
Yes.
Stockbridge is definitely called out quite a bit in the audio version.
Yeah.
And of course, the Doctor says he's off to Benidorm in Spain.
Yes.
Which is kind of a recurring theme for the next several comics as
Yes.
he keeps trying to go on vacation.
Yes, it's the Eye of Orion for the Fourth Doctor, isn't it?
It really is. And Tom Baker, you could tell, was really enjoying himself in this audio because he's companionless, and I think that's how he always wanted to play the Doctor.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying every second of it.
Yeah.
So I'll reset the timer, and we'll move on to City of the Damned. This one was by John Wagner and edited by Des Skin, appearing in Doctor Who Weekly 9 through 16. And here the TARDIS lands in a futuristic city, not Benidorm, where emotion has been outlawed and is erased from people's minds in what are called harmony booths. So it feels very 2000 AD, kind of futuristic dystopia.
Yes.
And the Doctor's arrested and placed in a brain-wiping machine, but is rescued by members of ZEPO, which stands for Zom Emotional People's Organization, and they are freedom fighters dressed up. Chris, oh no, we have more clowns. But they have different names. Like one is called Half Daft, one is called Need to Know.
Yeah.
We have Very, Fairly, and Slightly Angry as a trio.
Yes.
So there's a brain trust who's running the city, and they decide that the Doctor's too dangerous to live, and they send out what are called moderators, which are like emotionless enforcers, out of the city to destroy the rebels. And the Doctor, meanwhile, learning that each of those rebels has been practicing a single emotion to keep it alive. That's why they're all named, different things like that. And Big Hate has been breeding millions of the voracious Barabara, which are blood bugs. They kind of look like leeches or little cybermats, but they're organic. And he intends to release them upon the city.
Yeah. Big Hate, is it an AI type thing, or is it just a person?
I think it's one of the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So when the moderators attack the ZEPO outpost, Big Hate releases the Barabara, the blood bugs, which only attack the moderators, because the adrenaline produced by emotional stress is a poison to the Barabara. And the Doctor and the ZEPO fighters attempt to warn the city about the danger, but they're attacked by moderators and fail to reach the city in time. And billions of Barabara pour through the city, consuming the population.
Yeah.
And so the Doctor manages to transport himself to the home of the Brains Trust and convinces them to restore emotion to the people to save their lives. It's very season 24, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
or
like
Happiness
Happiness
Patrol.
Yeah.
Or visually, it looks very like THX 1138 or 1984. Or for a lower budget analogy, the 1980s PBS movie Overdrawn at the Memory Bank.
But most of those things would have been in the future.
True, yeah. Prior,
Yeah.
So maybe they took inspiration from this, perhaps.
Yeah.
But the Bara Bara, these bloodworms flowing through the city, some really gritty and frightening imagery, both with that kind of devouring them alive.
Yeah.
Very much, perhaps, inspired the Vashta Narada.
Yes.
In terms of these swaths of the city's populace getting eaten.
Yeah.
Also, the scenes of all the clowns getting tortured. Just like, not really in keeping with the kids' audience, but certainly in keeping with the late 70s, early 80s, very British style of comic. I mean, this one, among all of them, I felt the most like, 2000 AD.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
We have the moderator general who objects and guns down the Brains Trust, which are these giant, like, living brains, accusing them of treason, but the Doctor's able to overpower the moderator general and rewires the harmony booths to stimulate hate and fear in the surviving population, which gives them immunity to the Bara Bara. And then the Doctor leaves the people of the city with a record of his own emotional patterns as a blueprint for developing their own. So I'd love for the show or the comic to come back to this planet someday, and maybe you have a legion of Tom Bakers.
Yes, yeah,
or Fourth Doctors.
Yeah, has he learned nothing from the face of evil?
Apparently not. This one did feel a little similar to the Iron Legion, where you have a populace, an alien populace being stifled and controlled, and overthrowing their small group of oppressors. And that could be because Pat and John kind of worked on their stories separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some similar themes, I guess.
Yes, yeah, I certainly did kind of go, oh, these are two things of the same flavour. Yeah, it's not a flavour I necessarily care for. But, yeah.
Anything else that you'd say about City of the Damned?
City of the Damned also slightly reminds me in places of The Beast Below. Maybe. I mean, you can see with some of these stories how like the new series runs with some of this. It definitely has influences.
Yeah, I know. I'd say all three showrunners, like RTD's taken stuff from like our next story, the Starbase with Sharon and the Council Estate, and kind of the domesticity of the story.
Yeah.
But then also like you get potentially Stephen Moffat getting inspired by like Vashta Narada or some of those things. But even Chris Chibnall with the Lupari and some of the more comic styles of Flux, I feel like this collection of stories has cast a long shadow in terms of influence.
Yes.
I'd say.
Yes. Right.
So now we're on to the jewel of the collection.
Yes.
With
the reason why we're reading it. Yeah.
I'll reset the timer here. We had about a minute left there.
So the Star Beast.
Yeah.
So also probably, folks, potential spoilers for the TV special.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this one was written by Pat Mills. And interesting, Des Skin edited parts 1 through 4, and then Paul Neary comes on for parts 5 through 8. And this one appeared in Doctor Who Weekly 19 through 26. So again, we had that 2-issue gap in 17 and 18. Where, like you said, Time Slip was published, as well as, I think, a backup story for Absalom Doc getting introduced. K9 is here, having first appeared in the Time Slip strips a few weeks prior, and I'd like to think this is K9 Mark III before he was given to Sarah Jane, but who knows?
Yeah. So the Doctor materializes on a ship crewed by alien RAF warriors who are pursuing a creature called the Meep. Assuming that the Doctor is an agent of the Meep, they knock him out and implant a bomb in his stomach. Some of the warriors then stow away aboard the TARDIS, and the others allow the recovering Doctor to escape. And upon departing the RAF ship, the Doctor catches a television broadcast about a mysterious explosion in the British city of Blackcastle and lands to investigate. Blackcastle's fictitious. Not real.
I was going to ask. Because Donna's from Basildon, right?
Chiswick.
Chiswick, okay.
Yeah, both of which are real.
Okay. And this opens up with the newscast, as you mentioned, and I will literally get chills if Russell T Davies brings back Trinity Wells as the newscaster. Because I think she's the only person to have appeared on Doctor Who, Sarah Jane Adventures, and Torchwood. All three of them.
Yeah.
And the opening shot is certainly reminiscent of the ship crashing in Aliens of London.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's still trying to reach Benidorm, so
Yes.
some great continuity there.
Yes. I've not been to Benidorm, so, I mean, Benidorm might be all right. I don't know if it's worth this bother, though.
I've seen a few episodes of the TV show, and
Yes.
that was plenty. So there are two school children, or teenagers really, Sharon, who later gets the last name of Davies, like Russell T Davies, and her friend Fudge, who have found the Meep hiding in a tool shed near an abandoned steel mill where the Meep's ship has crashed. And I have to wonder if Donna's daughter Rose is going to be taking on like the Sharon role here.
Yes.
And perhaps if Wilf might be taking on the Fudge role, if like Beep is in his garden shed versus
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really curious how this gets adapted. I'll know in a month, but I'm just sort of really wondering.
Yes.
And so Sharon and Fudge take this cute creature back to Fudge's home to help him recover from his wounds. And then they break into the steel mill to search the Meep's ship for something to help him, which you'd think would be quarantined off or something. But
yes,
there's a lot of going back and forth into the ship before Unit eventually shows up to quarantine the area.
Yes.
And they're attacked by these Wraith warriors, which the spelling changes depending on there's an extra R. They're like either Wrath warriors, Wraith warriors, Wrath warriors, but depending on the issue. But
the TARDIS translation sort of like circuits having difficulty with it. It's clearly a difficult word.
Yeah. And the Doctor rescues them and rescues Fudge and Sharon, taking them back to Fudge's house, where the Doctor realizes that the Wraiths have implanted this bomb in him, and then he proceeds up to the roof where he wraps his waist in lead panels that he strips off the roof to shield his stomach from the detonation signal.
And then the Wraiths, realizing their plan has failed, attack in person, and the Doctor sends Sharon and the Meep to safety while he confronts the warriors. And doesn't he send them on a bus?
And the bus driver looked a little bit like Graham, which
yes,
I was surprised about.
And too late, the Doctor learns that the Meep is in fact an intergalactic warlord, and the Wraiths are the Justice Patrol sent to bring him to account for his crimes. So they're the Jadoon, basically.
Yeah, and they also seem to be inspired a little bit by Xenomorphs from Alien, because they have like this extra tongue appendage that comes out, and I was not expecting K9 to get decapitated by one of the Wraith claws either. That was very shocking. And throughout this, Sharon uses an insult that Donna is very fond of, and she calls a lot of people Dumbo. Which I thought was also funny.
Yeah.
Beep, as he's depicted, seems larger here than I expected from the Doctor Who trailers. Like, at least 3 or 4 feet tall and just as big around.
Yeah.
I also kind of wonder if they're going to, with this adaptation, keep the subcutaneous bomb plot, as it's very similar to the Stenza bombs from The Woman Who Fell to Earth. So I could see RTD maybe changing that detail.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a loose cover. Yeah.
So the Doctor ends up taking the Wraiths to the steel mill, or the Wraths, where the Meep has brought the locals and soldiers from Unit under his hypnotic control using black star radiation from his ship's warp drive. And he's now preparing to launch his damaged ship using interstellar engines, despite the fact that it will destroy the Earth in the process, almost like a springboard. And very similar to what Margaret the Slitheen was planning when she was going to surf off the Earth explosion.
Yeah.
The Doctor sabotages the engines, and although the Meep is able to take off with Sharon as a hostage, Earth is not destroyed in the process, and the Wrath warriors recapture the Meep in orbit around Earth and are able to free Sharon. And as the Wrath warriors take the Meep to face judgment, the Doctor attempts to take Sharon back home in the TARDIS.
That is the end of the Star Beast, and that is also how the Doctor gets his first companion of colour.
Yeah. This is the first of 6 comic stories with Sharon and the Fourth Doctor, and she would return for an additional 4 stories, including her wedding in The Star Beast 2, which is in one of the Doctor Who magazine yearbooks from the 90s. And she also appears in 5 prose stories in DWM and is played by Rhiannon Starbuck in the adaptation. And yeah, like you said, she predated Martha by something like 25 or 30 years.
Yes.
So it's an example of the comic doing, being more progressive, I would say, than the TV series.
Yes. It's a bit unfortunate, though, that she lives in Black Castle. It's just like, okay. It's like, okay, all right. Maybe we could go for a different name. I don't know. Yeah.
One of my friends in the Twin Cities created a Sharon from Black Castle comic book that was like a fanzine that ran for a number of issues in the 90s. Or it was the 2000s, because I think there's one issue where Sharon meets 4 different versions of the Ninth Doctor. Including the Richard E. Grant and Christopher Eccleston versions. That was Jeff Ovick who created those.
Okay.
We get a reference to Leela, so this is definitely post-Invasion of Time. And we get a reference to the Doctor referencing the Black Guardian, so likely set after the Key to Time season.
Yes, but who knows? Like, Romana might be kind of like in the Doctor's bedroom. That might be why he told people not to go. I mean, like, she might be having a headache throughout all of this.
Or maybe she's off on Gallifrey taking some more classes.
Yeah. Who knows?
It's interesting that Sharon attributes being able to suddenly understand Meep to Meep somehow learning English, when in fact it's the Doctor's presence in the scene that enables the translation. And it's not something that's really opined on in the script, but it's consistent with how translation works in the new series. And I love the line from the Doctor, Mrs. Higgins, there are aliens at the bottom of your garden.
Yeah. This is the most Graham Williams-esque of the stories, I would say.
Yeah.
Though I still can't picture this in the Graham Williams era, but I can definitely picture this in the first RTD era. I could have imagined this slotting into the 10th Doctor's run. Which I imagine is why it's appearing in November in some shape or form.
And it's interesting that the Doctor's TARDIS key is an ordinary Yale key here, and not the Gallifreyan designed one that the 3rd and 4th Doctors and the 8th Doctor use.
Yeah, the Yale key does appear on telly as well. I can't remember which. Something tells me Peter Davison has a Yale key. I might be wrong. But there definitely has been a Yale key in the past.
Yeah, I think there was, like, in the 1st or 2nd Doctor era.
Yeah,
but you're saying more recently even.
I think so. No doubt someone will tell me.
Listeners will correct us.
Yes, listeners will have a row at us on social media. Cool. No, our listeners are nice. So
I'll reset the TARDIS timer. We're just at time there. And next up...
it's the Dogs of Doom. So the TARDIS brings Doctor, Sharon and K9 to a cargo ship in deep space, just as being attacked by the Werelocks, who are wolf-like creatures who've been attacking human colonies in the New Earth system. Oh, hello, New Earth, you say? Yes. So the Doctor and K9 help someone called Joe Beam and his engineer, Babe, to fight off the Werelocks.
They're like space truckers.
Yes.
Which, one of my favorite episodes of Cowboy Bebop is the Space Queen trucker episode. So I have an affinity for, like, depictions of, like, space truckers as kind of like a fun
thing. There would be, wouldn't there, right? You would have, like, long-haul folks. But
unless they're all automated by AI, you know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but yeah.
So the Doctor and K9 are helping these 2 space truckers to fight off the Werelocks, but during the fight, the Doctor is scratched by the Werelocks leader, who is slightly weirdly called Brill. As soon as he's exposed to moonlight, which I imagine there is a fair amount of in space, the Doctor begins to transform into a Werelocks himself. But he manages to get to the TARDIS and takes it out of time and space. And he finds a cure to his condition after 3 months' hard work, while only minutes pass back on Joe's ship. So he's managed to take Sharon here, presumably trying to get back to Black Castle, and is then able to go and take the TARDIS away and then come back. Okay.
So he must have the randomizer disabled.
Yes.
I think it's cool that the Doctor was only gone for 10 minutes from Sharon's perspective.
Yeah.
But it took
yeah.
him like 3 months and a lot of hard work to find a cure for his condition.
Yeah, that's fun.
That felt a little timey-wimey.
Yeah.
And there's also lots of references to New Yugoslavia, which I don't think aged very well.
Who knows? Maybe, you know.
Come back around again? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the Russian Empire's coming back, isn't it?
And the Doctor as a werewolf is pretty terrifying as well. And we get a nice little reminder that the Doctor repaired K9 in the previous story, you know, from his decapitation there.
Yeah.
And we should mention, too, that this one was written by John Wagner and edited by Paul Neary, and, of course, art by Dave Gibbons. And this one was in DWM 27 through 34. And Joe, one of the Space Trucker guys, takes the Doctor, Sharon, and K9 and the captive Brill to New Earth, where the Doctor does his best John Pertwee and hypnotizes Brill and learns that the Werelocks are serving the Daleks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which I was genuinely surprised when the Daleks were revealed to be kind of behind the Werelok creatures.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're drawn really well. Like, they don't look disproportionate or weird.
Yeah.
And, almost as good as how is it Lee Sullivan draws them?
Yes. Yeah.
And the Daleks begin incinerating planets in the system, and the Doctor takes Brill, who is hypnotized and thinks he's on the Doctor's side, to the Dalek battle cruiser to investigate. And there he learns the Daleks are in the process of sterilizing the system to use it as a breeding ground for a new race of Daleks, taking elements that they find particularly deplorable from different alien species. And K9 rescues the Doctor and Brill the werewolf, and the Doctor pilots the TARDIS. Yeah, K9 apparently his blaster can pierce Dalek casings, which I didn't know.
No.
Learned something new here.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that powerful. But the Doctor pilots the TARDIS to the time laboratories aboard the Dalek ship, or laboratories if you're British, and Brill holds off the attacking Daleks while the Doctor uses some experimental time technology to trap the battle cruiser in a time lock, forever frozen in a single moment in time and space, which feels like a Time War tactic almost.
Yes. Maybe this is the second attack of the Time War.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could be. And he then takes Brill, the Werelok, back to New Earth and picks up Sharon, who informs him that she doesn't want to go home quite yet because she's having too much fun traveling.
Yes, fun.
Fortunately, by the Doctor, keeping her isolated from the Daleks, maybe that has improved her view on things.
Yes, I'm not sure I would necessarily class this as fun. So this must be the first reference to New Earth. Yeah.
And so maybe this is step 2, and there's 17 more new Earths to go. Or maybe it could be the same one as depicted in the New Earth episode 2.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Catnuns in the background.
Yeah, but like the Werelocks, they would happily be on that world, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Little universe.
Yeah, they'd fit right in like Gridlock or something too. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that brings us to our final story of the collection.
Yes. Have we saved the best to last? Let's find out. It's The Time Witch.
And this one is by Steve Moore and also edited by Paul Neary, and Dave Gibbons stays on. And the reason Pat and John left the strip is because they were informed by the new editor that their going rates were going to be cut. And so they were like, well, we're going to go off and find new work. See ya.
Yeah.
As revealed in the Nick Briggs interview with Pat Mills. And this is also half the length of some of the other stories. This is a 4-parter or 4-issue as opposed to 8.
Yes. So on the planet Nephren, the criminal Brimmo, is that right?
Brimmo, I think, yeah.
Brimmo, yeah. The criminal Brimmo is sentenced to perpetual imprisonment within an eternity capsule for conspiring to alter the course of universal destiny.
And think like a mirrored prison, not unlike the Phantom Zone.
Yes, there's big Phantom Zone energy here. And after millions of years, her system's star collapses into a black hole, and Brimmo awakens in a pocket universe where her every wish becomes reality. Which, this feels like a bit of a flaw in the prison system, doesn't it? But yeah. So the mini universe, however, is drawing energy out of the real universe until the passing TARDIS becomes stuck in the rift and prevents energy from passing through. Making sense?
And Brimo then attacks the Doctor, who uses his own mind to create weapons to defend himself. And when Brimo's power becomes exhausted, because the TARDIS is kind of... I didn't reset last time, sorry.
No, fair enough, that's fine.
And because the TARDIS is acting as a stopgap, Brimo's power becomes exhausted, and then the Doctor challenges her to think of the worst thing imaginable, and she becomes trapped in her eternity capsule again, this time forever. And so the Doctor and Sharon return to the TARDIS, but when they pass through the rift back into the real universe, Sharon ages 4 years all at once, bypassing adolescence and becoming a young woman.
Yes. Why? I mean, like, if you think it's a bit problematic having like a schoolgirl companion, and yeah, there are issues with that, right? I mean, suddenly, like, having this happen to her doesn't fix the problem.
And it also updates her hairstyle, which, to be fair, is much more flattering to her forehead than her previous hairstyle. But
it's bizarre, and also, how is the Doctor going to explain this away to sort of like Sharon's family?
Yeah.
And he makes some kind of like light-hearted joke about it as well. And like, yeah, if this happened in like the modern show, I imagine this would lead to a bit of trauma.
And it kind of had a Rumpelstiltskin or Mxyzptlk vibe to the ending.
Yeah.
Where, like getting the villain to say their own name, or, think about the Eternity Pod again.
Yeah. There's a Green Lantern vibe as well, I would say, because like with like various constructs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like trying to out-imagine the other opponent.
Yeah. Well, maybe the Toymaker. Who knows? Speaking
of drawing inspiration from this one, wouldn't it be amazing if Jinx Monsoon played the return of Brimo the Time Witch?
Yeah, I'm worried about Jinx Monsoon. I must say, that costume.
It seems like she's in a musical episode, but
yeah, but still. Anyway, that's for future Chris to worry about.
But yeah, this was the first of 7 main strips from Steve Moore, who would go on to pen a number of backup strips for DWM, as well as being the creator of Absalom Doc and Croton the Cyberman.
Well, he's already been writing the backup strips by this time as well.
That's true, yeah.
So Absalom Doc has already appeared and has reappeared by the time we get to this stage in the comics. And the Absalom Doc comics are really good. There is a reason why that guy became a bit of a cult hero. It's like you can definitely see like various Sly Stallone type characters.
Very 2000 AD, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
anyway.
I think his strips are in the recent Dalek anthology that was published.
Yes, Nemesis, I think, yeah.
Speaking of which, the book ends with a nice full-page ad for the second volume of Fourth Doctor stories called Dragon's Claw. Or if you picked up the recent, soon-to-be-released complete Fourth Doctor edition, you can just keep on reading to the next story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the Iron Legion. What did you think of Sharon in terms of her as a companion, despite her age up there at the end?
Yeah, there's not really a lot that she's quite generic. I mean, the thing that is remarkable about her is she's the first companion of colour. She just feels generic, I think.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, she seemed to bring like a different dynamic.
No.
But it could also have been problematic if they introduced the first black companion and then she acts completely different or more immature than, say, any of the other companions before her. So I think there's a tightrope you'd have to walk. And so maybe her being a generic companion or an uneventful companion in a way was trying to play it safe after just having her inclusion being progressive. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike her. I'd much rather see a character who is reflecting modern Britain at the time. Yeah, at least in her appearance. But yeah.
What did you think of do the comics, in your opinion, or at least these 5 satisfy the goal of being stories not easily realized on screen?
Yes. Though, all right, cards on table. I'm not a big fan of Judge Dredd.
Me either.
So I've always found Judge Dredd to be a little bit too OTT. So certainly that meant that the first two stories were just not landing with me. But I can see why people got really excited at the time, because it's nothing like what they've been seeing on telly. And also as well, in the Graham Williams era, the budget has been sort of like cut and cut and cut, whereas here you're seeing amazing stuff that you would never see on Doctor Who on telly. So I can see why people at the time loved them, but I was just there were times where I was just going, okay, just tone it down a tad.
I feel like it also was a bit of a pivot from where the direction that season 18 was headed in terms of it being more hard sci-fi and kind of the fledgling JNT era. This seems both different from that, but also for the most part different from what had come before in the Graham Williams era.
Yeah.
Probably maybe most similar to like the Armageddon Factor, where you have like a galactic space opera sort of deal, not unlike Star Wars. I feel it's trying to capture that feeling.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned earlier, it does feel like it is also a departure from the type of comics we got in the 60s or the Pertwee comics in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do something different, right? I can see how it would appeal, particularly to a comics audience. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to be doing kind of like Bidmead stories in a comics format. And yeah, so I could imagine that, it would appeal to school kids. And one of the really weird things about about the letters pages, sorry, this is a very slight tangent. They often have photos of some of the readers, not accompanying their letter, but just photos that people have sent in of them in their school uniform, and some of them look really quite young. given like some of
the level of violence in some of these stories, especially like the Bara just like eating the flesh of, and then people just kind of sitting there emotionless, like, oh my gosh, there's this worm crawling on me and it's eating my arm, and on their other hand they're trying to like eat dinner or something, and it's like it's really creepy.
Yeah, there's some letter writers who are saying, oh, how on earth is the Doctor going to trick the Meep? The Meep doesn't seem to me like a very complicated foe.
Yeah.
But I think this Doctor has outwitted some smarter people than Meep to be.
Yeah, and I think for me, like the comedy from the Meep comes in with his inner dialogue, where it's like, they're scratching him and like petting him and saying how cute he is, and he's just like thinking about, oh, I'm gonna boil you in oil or something, How dare you lay a hand on me?
Yes, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that translates to the special next month.
Yeah. Verbatim, I suspect. Yeah. But yeah, I love the Star Beast. Star Beast, I think, was my favourite story. I think. The Star Beast was my favourite story.
Agreed. Yeah, hands down. Yeah.
That was great fun. And I can see why, like, why you'd want to do an adaptation of it. Brilliant. The others less so. I think
Dogs of Dooms would probably be not as high up as Star Beast, but the Daleks, the addition of the Daleks and the surprise there elevated it for me a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, because I was surprised, and then I went, oh yeah, I vaguely remember reading this in that DWM anniversary special, like from a time when I thought 10 years was a really long time. Yeah, so I kind of went, oh yeah, no, the Daleks did do a surprise appearance, didn't they?
In terms of the artwork, I feel like Dave Gibbons really captured Tom Baker's face and face and his expressions, a variety of emotions, really just true to life and good use of shadow.
Yeah.
There's only one moment, and it was in the panel where the Fourth Doctor is calling Ironicus in the Iron Legion a parrot, that he looks remarkably like Gene Hackman. But apart from that, it was really good. And the level of detail is also just off the charts. I just found myself poring over different crowd shots, looking for familiar faces or Easter eggs. At one point, I think I spotted Thor's hammer.
Oh, okay.
As included in the weapons that were the Doctor was dreaming up in the Time Witch story.
Yeah. I think by that point, by the time I got to the Time Witch, I was just like, So I must say, I've noticed it was very detailed. I thought it was maybe more cluttered. Yeah.
I also preferred the 2 Pat Mills stories to the 2 John Wagner ones. And I feel like it's obvious why Big Finish went for adapting those 2. They're just stronger and more epic, but also more grounded in like the humanity of everything, and the stakes feel a little higher. So so how would we score these as a collection?
Yes, as a collection, I think. Yeah. What score am I going to give this? I am going to give this, I think, a 6. Yeah. Really enjoyed the Star Beast. The others, not as much. And yeah. How about you?
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I just had a lot of fun reading it, and I had a lot of fun listening to the adaptations as well. And
yeah.
When it comes to comics, I tend to maybe give a little bit more leeway in terms of like the plot. Like if the visuals are there and stuff, that can brush over some of the plot holes and stuff. But I definitely understand what you're saying, and I always had a grin on my face when I was like, okay, what's next? And, every page I turned, which was kept me going, and it was fun.
Yeah, whereas I think certainly after City of the Damned, I was just kind of going, I hope the Star Beast is different.
That's fair.
I've read some early Judge Dredd. I read The Cursed Earth, because that was done as not quite a Penguin classic, but it was done as there was a kind of like a promotion thing where it was moderately cheap as a book that you could read and then tell other people about. We're talking about 10 years or so ago. And I got it full of excitement, and I read it and went, oh, okay. But like, I'm not of the 2000 AD generation. And I didn't have an older sibling to get me into 2000 AD. And the only time I remember as a kid getting 2000 AD was when that was the only comic that was being handed out on a British Airways flight. Where they used to do things, and we weren't the right audience for it, and there was a mother and daughter in the row in front of us who gave us their extra 2000 AD. But yeah, no, it's still terrible. Mum was just having a read through. She's like, right, okay. Put it to one side. Like, we were 6 and 7.
And that's why some comics are for a more adult audience, and people it's getting that mentality, like not all comics are for kids.
No.
People who are handing out these comics to children should think about that.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Marvelous.
Should we move on to listener feedback?
Yeah, let's.
Well, I don't see any new emails this month. Oh, wait, we do have one that says our podcast was selected by FeedSpot as one of the top 80 book club podcasts in the world.
Wow!
So that's cool.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with FeedSpot, but I
I'm
suspect they're trying to generate traffic to their blog, but I appreciate the acknowledgement. And
yeah, fair enough.
That's good.
Yes. Yeah, okay, that's cool. We haven't had anything on Facebook apart from the various likes. So what's about the hell space that is X?
Well, I wouldn't know about X because it still says Twitter to me.
Twitter, yeah, fair enough.
But we heard from Swords and Sorcery, who tweets of our review of Ghosts of India last month, that they think Mark Morris is fab, and his Fifth Doctor book, Deep Blue, is one of their all-time favorite Doctor Who books. We'll go check out our review of that one. And they say it manages to match the more grown-up trend that the books of that period had, while still being fun to the original TV series. And a great read if you've not done so yet. And we have. So check out episode 58 to hear our review of that. We also heard from Daniel Martinez regarding Ghosts of India, and he said it was an interesting comparison that we made between Demons of the Punjab and the novel, and he says that Punjab might tackle the issues more, but he enjoyed Ghosts of India more as a Doctor Who story, saying that Demons of the Punjab seems to focus more on being an educational piece as opposed to an entertainment piece.
Yeah. Well, also, Demons of the Punjab is dealing with partition head on.
Yeah.
and Ghost of India is set just before partition.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of looming in the future, almost like on the eve of World War One.
Yes,
the same feeling you got like in Human Nature.
Yeah, but not as good.
And finally, we heard from Keith Say, 50DW50 on Twitter, who thanked us for the Ghosts of India podcast, and he said he enjoyed our review.
Cool. Feedspot has us at number 22 in Doctor Who podcasts.
Oh, even better.
Yes. Above, I think, did I see that it was above Reality Bomb? No, it's above 42 to Doomsday. It's above Reality Bomb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know that's true. And it's above Trap 1 as well. Thanks,
I'll take it.
Thanks, Feedspot. You're wrong, but yeah, it's above Flight Through entirety. Feedspot, you're daft. Seriously, you're daft. Go away.
Chris, that brings us, I think, to what we're going to be reading for next month.
Yes.
Which is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who month.
Yes. So no pressure, hey. So Matt, it's an anniversary year. You might have noticed. So I thought, let's go back to the original crew. We're going to spend some time with the first Doctor, Susan, Ian and Barbara, because they are kind of the original crew. I guess the first Doctor and Susan are the original crew. And we are going to go to City at World's End, which is by Christopher Bulis. It is not a Star Trek story.
That has a fantastic cover, I think, too.
It does. It has a very lively cover. We are going to go to City at World's End.
I'm just perusing the list to make sure the original book club did it.
I didn't see it on there. I did check.
Oh, they did City of the Dead. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew they did City of something.
Yeah, I nearly did this one last time.
Oh, I'm glad you saved it. I think it'll be a great...
Yes. That's why I kind of thought, let's do something like this for the 60th.
Going back to the beginning, yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
There's an area of London called World's End. I don't think there is a city...
Is that the third movie in the Cornetto trilogy?
Yeah, I think...
The pub at World's End or something?
Yeah, there is something at World's End. Yeah, because in Camden, I think World's End is around Camden.
Very cool.
Yeah, indeed. Very, very cool.
Excellent. Well, until next month and the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
This has been Matt in Minnesota.
Chris in South London. Stay safe and happy reading.
Thank you for listening to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Special thanks to George C. Music for use of their song Doctor Who theme Swing Jazz version. You can follow us on Twitter at ANDWBC Podcast and like us on Facebook. Help other listeners to find us by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. You can contact the show by emailing your thoughts to andwbcpodcast@gmail.com. And until next month, happy reading.
Oh, we dance and we play with joy, we gush as our dreadful song turns your brain to mush. Join the fun and you'll see, soon you'll agree you are Beep's friend after all. Ask your neighbour round for a bite and a drink, then nibble off his face till he's raw and pink. Enjoy his surprise as you suck at his eyes, you are Beep's friend, smash them all.